I feel compelled to tell you today that if your church, your synagogue, is not telling you these things and helping you deal and navigate through the waters today and showing you how the Bible actually is the answer to the things that you're dealing with in real life every day, you need to go find another church or synagogue. You must. You must. Anyone who is ignoring this at this point is either so under-equipped for the times and so blind to the times and clearly not getting any promptings from the Spirit, or they don't get it, or they are afraid because they're afraid of controversy. In times where the truth is controversial, there's nothing you can do except tell the truth. I mean, if you want to fix things. The truth right now is the most controversial thing you can say. A man is a man, never will be a woman. Never. The problem is we keep conflating all of these problems with politics. And that's the problem. I want you to just for a second play this monologue for your friends who don't agree with me. You don't have to like Donald Trump to see the danger we're now in. You don't have to vote Republican or wear a red hat or cheer at rallies. You just really, all you have to do is love the idea of America, not the flag waving stuff, the idea that man can rule himself, that we do not have a king or a dictator or a cabal of people that run things. There is no master. Government serves us. We are in charge of government, not the other way around. That's the American dream. And that's what makes us different. You also have to believe that the scales of justice must stay balanced. I have told you from the first day, after 9/11 when things got serious, I stand with the Constitution. Anyone who violates the Constitution, I will stand against. And I am a hawk on that. If the story that I'm about to tell you is true, and so far all signs point that it is, then something has gone very, very wrong in our constitutional republic. The FBI, under this administration, secretly obtained the phone records of 9 Republican lawmakers. Sorry, not this administration, the former administration. They've released it. Trump has just released it. They have the phone records of 9 Republican lawmakers, 8 sitting U.S. senators. They were not suspected terrorists. They're not foreign spies. They're elected officials. They're public servants. They work for you. People who work to represent millions of people just like you. And the FBI had a secret investigation that we have now just found out, and all of the documents are there. It was called Arctic Frost. The Bureau said this is about election integrity. But we now know that it swept up elective representatives, all from one party, without anybody's knowledge. Now, this is not 1972. We're not talking about a couple of thugs that broke into a file cabinet at Watergate. This is much bigger than Watergate. And I want anybody who disagrees with Donald Trump to ask themselves, the documents are here. If this was Donald Trump doing this, I would be with you and saying this is authoritarianism and it must stop now. Why will you not join my voice with this? We're talking about digital surveillance, invisible, vast, far more powerful than a hidden microphone in the Watergate building. Chuck Grassley said it's arguably worse than Watergate, and he's right. Because this time, the government did not just spy on its political enemies from a smoky back room in D.C. in a hotel. It did it from inside the federal agencies that we're supposed to trust, that are supposed to protect people's rights. Now, if you have been told all your life that the real danger only comes from the right, that corruption, dishonesty, abuse of power is exclusive to conservatives, then I'm asking you to pause and to look again, because the documents have just been released. When one side can weaponize the justice system and the other side cheers it on, justice dies for everyone. And it makes people who now want to say, but look what they did, they feel justified to get revenge. Well, if they're doing it, then we can do it. And that leads all of us to hell. Then we're all in trouble. People have been defending James Comey and saying, that this is just a political hit job by Donald Trump. No, it is not. Again, look at the facts. He was accused to lying to Congress. It's not political persecution. When a grand jury recommends charges, that's not politics. That's the process. That's how our system is supposed to work. Now he goes to trial. That doesn't make him guilty. But it does mean he has to face the same standard of justice as you or I would. In America, no one is supposed to be above the law. Not Donald Trump, not James Comey, not Joe Biden or Hunter Biden, not anyone sitting in the White House today or yesterday. Because in America, no one is above the law. Now we have candidates. One running for attorney general in Virginia, who openly flirt with violent rhetoric. And the media yawns. They call it, quote, colorful language. Quote, that's just politics. No, it's not. When threats and intimidation become normal, when justice becomes selective, when the press decides who's innocent and who's guilty before the evidence is even in, the republic begins to rot from within. So many people, so many of our neighbors are just exhausted, and they've tuned everything out because it all sounds like noise. They all lie, and nobody's going to pay. That's what people say to themselves. You've stopped caring because the truth seems impossible to find. But when documents are produced and prove the truth, there is no argument. And the truth still does matter. If you want a civil society, justice still matters. And whether you voted for Trump or can't stand him, whether you think Biden was a saint or a disappointment, none of that matters. What matters is, do we still believe in equal justice under the law? Because if we lose that, we lose the promise of America itself, and you will get a dictator on the left or the right. So I'm asking you, not as a conservative or a liberal, but as an American, do not look away from this story. This is worse than Watergate. What happened in Watergate? We had all kinds of hearings, not to get the president. We had all kinds of hearings to make sure that never happened again. I can't tell you how many private conversations I have had with senators who have said to me, whispered in my ear, they're monitoring everything I do and say. No senator should ever feel that. No Republican, no Democrat, no independent, no communist. No one should ever feel that way in America. But that will only stop when we demand fairness. When it makes you and your side uncomfortable. When you hold power accountable, even if it's your team holding it. What'll happen is this story will go out. People will talk about it. The right will talk about it. They'll try to show the evidence. The left will not listen. The media will not report it. And then when it is all proven to be true, the media will say that's all old news. And everyone will move on. And what does that do to the machine? It means the machine is never turned off. It means the machine gets more power. It means next time it could be you. If you don't punish whichever side is doing it, what happens? If Democrats don't tell the AG in Virginia, this is unacceptable and we do not tolerate that at all, what happens next? Stop dealing with what's happening now. Look over the horizon. What does that mean for tomorrow? Justice can never be partisan. Never. Truth must never depend on who's in office. And America, this beautiful, fragile idea, will only survive if both sides refuse to let blindness become loyalty. Gang, whether you like it or not, we are in this together. Gold just hit $4,005 an ounce. I have told you for 15 years, if gold hits $5,000 an ounce, you don't want to live in that world. That means the world is coming apart at the seams. Goldman Sachs just said their prediction is gold at $5,000 an ounce. That means the trust of all of our institutions, the trust of our dollar, the trust of our government, the trust of our banking, the trust of our business, all of that is up for grabs. You do not want to live in that world. I told you yesterday when I was talking about civil war, that's not a TV show. That means the end of all of the dreams that you have had for your children coming to an end. You no longer will be able to predict what their life will be like. Now, you may not like it the way it is, but believe me, it is better than living in Somalia or Haiti. Haiti is what revolution looks like. Haiti is what civil war leaves behind. Start looking at the news. What does this mean on what's coming next? And because of what that will lead to, what must I do today? Today, you must look at the facts. Today is an easy day. You must look at the facts of what was released yesterday on Operation Arctic Frost. And then you must demand, Republican and Democrat, this must end.